Oh yeah, give me them electric powers.
Hey everybody, my name is Jordan, and today I'm going to talk to you about Infamous 2. So let's get the first order of business out of the way. The sequel business. Do you need to have played Infamous 1 to enjoy Infamous 2? My answer for that is going to be no, but you know what? You probably should play Infamous 1 anyways if you haven't already, because it was a spectacular game. And basically you're just going to enjoy the backstory a little bit more. You're going to get the references, and a lot of the characters carry over from Infamous 1. So, you know, that'll help having that previous knowledge. The game does, Infamous 2, does a good job of, you know, getting people up to speed, giving you a recap if you haven't played it. So you can enjoy it on its own. But especially with the whole PSN welcome back thing that's happening now because of the downtime, if you do qualify for that, Infamous 1 is one of the games you can download for free, so if you haven't played it, I have no clue what is stopping you. So go do that. It's awesome. Anyways, on to Infamous 2. Now, Infamous 2 continues the formula of what Infamous 1 did with what I like to call superhero fun. You play as a guy named Cole McGrath, and Cole has the power of electrics. He can shoot all the electrics everywhere. And it's very awesome. His powers are very cool and creative, and even the way you recharge your powers of, you know, sapping electricity from real-world things in the environment, it's very inventive. And you know, Sucker Punch came up with a really cool concept for a superhero here, and this game sort of continues the whole. There's this whole parkour element. The Infamous games are set in an open world sandbox-esque kind of setting, and the traversal is really awesome. You know, you can glide everywhere and you can grind on power lines and stuff like that. But the parkour, actually, it's been improved from the first game. The first game, the parkour felt a little sluggish at times. You know, it wasn't quite as fast as a game like Assassin's Creed. But you know, it feels a little bit more natural now. If you could describe these superhuman feats of agility as natural, they had this balance of it not being too fast, but not being too sluggish to get up a building. So that's a cool improvement that they put in Infamous 2 from the first one. That being said, though, there really isn't too much new with this game. And don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing, because I think that the formula of, you know, this awesome, fun, electric-based world traversal and the combat with your superpowers, I think that, you know, there's still a lot untapped there, and I think it's a really awesome formula, and I think the Infamous world is an interesting world, and I think it's very cool. So it's not necessarily bad that there's not too much new, but you know, it's not going to redefine the series here. It's just more in quantity, and that's really about it. Not really more in innovation. So I'm going to get all the good things out of the way first, just because it is a very good game. So I'm just going to hit the bullet list real quick. The voice acting is very good. At times it gets a little hokey, but all in all, it's solid, if not great. The graphics look good. It's not a huge jump here. You know, some textures look better. You know, the lighting's better than Infamous 1. You know, Infamous 1 wasn't a bad looking game, and 2 just sort of improves and here and there with a few bells and whistles, but it's nothing world shaking. The production values are great. Sucker Punch clearly loves the games they make, and they put in, you know, they put in a lot of love. The comic book style presentation of the cutscenes is really cool too. And yeah, like I said, combat overall is awesome. The missions are cool. The story seems very cool, and the addition of putting in elemental-based superpowers, depending on how you play the game, is really cool as well. That's kind of their one new innovation here, where Cole doesn't have just electrical powers. Sorry, spoiler alert, but they kind of advertised it, and they let you do it in the demo. So you know what? Shut up. I don't feel sorry for you. That's right. I said it. Anyways, let me get to my gripes about the game. The melee combat itself is very good. It's very simple and straightforward, but it's cool. It's very visceral and very satisfying. You hit the square button a bunch, and you do combos, and then you eventually hit the triangle button to execute a finisher, and there's like different levels of finishers depending on how far your special finish meter is filled up. But it's the camera with the melee combat that is the problem. They chose to give it a real cinematic feel, and it gets all these really cool wiggy jiggy angles when you start hitting dudes, and it zooms in real close. And it's the zooming in close, the claustrophobic nature of the camera that kind of sucks, because then you can't really see around you all that well, and there's some like monster guys that rush you and come up and melee you, and you know, when they hit you, it breaks your combo. So it can get a little frustrating sometimes with the camera. It gets a little wonky here and there, but it's nothing that's game ruining. Also, the whole binary choice of morality is back from Infamous 1 here in Infamous 2, and it's just as binary as ever. It's very cool that your powers evolve based on your moral choices, but it punishes players who try and play in a gray area. Basically, you really gotta commit to being a good guy, or I can't say bad guy, because it's another one of those games where playing as a bad guy doesn't make that much sense in context. You know, you're pretty much more of a dick than anything. You don't really ever become super villainish, you know, but whatever. So it punishes people who try and walk a gray area, and I think gray area gaming in morality is some of the most interesting, because I think it says more about how you are as a person, or how you are as, you know, the person you want to be in this world by these choices that you make, like who you want to save, who you want to sacrifice, what you care about, what you don't care about, stuff like that. I think that's where interesting gameplay really happens, and if you want to unlock the morality-based superpowers on either side of the spectrum, you really got to commit, because you get heroic points, or you get, you know, dastardly points or whatever, and those are the only ways to, you know, complete the skill tree on either side. And that being said, it is cool that you get these varying powers, and sometimes you get varying missions. You will get locked out of good missions if you play as a bad guy, and vice versa. So there really is some good incentive, a lot of incentive, to play through 2 times on both morality choices. Since this isn't my full-time job and I do have finite time, I was only able to get through the good, my good playthrough here before this review. I do plan on going and playing as a evil guy, and I'm sure it'll be just as awesome. So it's kind of disappointing that the morality is really binary. The other thing is the user-generated content. It's a good idea, and Sucker Punch made some custom levels himself. You know, the community is going to have access to it, but really they just seem like this kind of diversion that's not going to keep my attention all that much. I mean, it was fun enough, but I'd much rather play the story missions. I'd much rather play a fully fleshed out experience rather than some kind of like throwaway diversion. But who knows what the community is going to do with it. So yeah, the jury's still out on that. Yeah, only time will tell. But right now, user-generated content isn't a huge selling point for me. So while I had these gripes, I can't stress enough how much they are just kind of like these auxiliary, you know, just sort of things that mar an otherwise stellar experience. So I'm going to get to my bottom line. I believe that Infamous 2 is worth full price. I believe it's a must-buy. And, you know, go out and get it right now if you're looking for something to play. Make sure you play it. It's well worth your $60. So thank you guys for watching this review. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Like the video if you did, in fact, like it. Keep an eye out for my Red Faction Armageddon review and my Duke Nukem Forever review. Those will be coming shortly. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.